Hello everybody, we're back, and today's video is very spicy. We're following up on some hot drama that happened a little while ago on this channel. You may remember, maybe like 6 or 8 weeks ago, I don't even know at this point, I posted a video about Gen Z in the workplace, and it got a big reaction.
And there are 4 people running the whole store, and there's so many customers, and there's buzzing.
Some people were very upset, most notably calling me out for giving commentary and critiquing a retail job. And their point being that I've never had a retail job and I have no room to talk. Now, some people came to my defense. They said, what are you talking about, man? Noel has had a retail job and I'm here to set the record straight. Retail job? I don't think so. I've been posting YouTube videos since I was 5. Yeah, that's right. I've been making ad rev since I was a baby. Retail job. Oh, you never catch me dead. I'm kidding. Back in my day, I was an NPC for Big Bad Best Buy. Really, I'd say the only difference between an NPC streamer on TikTok and an NPC for a retail company is only one of those people fantasizes about bringing a bomb into the home theater department. That's a joke. FBI, CIA, that's a joke. Coming back to the point, it's actually kind of interesting when I compare some of the response that I got from that video to now. And when I think about really how big of an NPC I was for Best Buy, me and all my coworkers, we were bad people. This is probably the greatest example of being a Best Buy NPC. One of my coworkers and one of my friends at the time was selling a computer to an old man. He got him various accessories. He even set him up with a Best Buy protection plan, all totaling somewhere in the range of $900. When my buddy hit total on the cash register and the final amount due displayed on the credit card machine, that old man looked at that price, his eyes lit up, and he passed out. Now, wasn't so bad because my buddy caught him. Just as the guy started to go, he saw that number, he saw God, and he just started to fall back, and my buddy was right there. Whoa! And he caught him. He props the old man back up, and the old man kind of comes to, his operating system restarts. My buddy kind of pats his back and says, hey man, you all right? And the old guy goes, yeah, I just had a moment there. My buddy looks at him and says, okay, great. I thought I almost lost you, because I just want to remind you the total for this laptop is $898.27. And that's the type of programming we were on. We didn't care. People would come in and say, man, I'm flat broke, but I need a laptop. And I would look them in the eye and go, you want to sign up for a credit card? Yeah, I know we got this whole housing crisis thing going on, but sign up for a credit card. You know, what's the worst that could happen? We rode so hard for Best Buy that people thought all the time, they would ask us, they thought, hey, you're on commission, right? And we weren't. We were just ruining people's lives in the name of Best Buy just because we felt like it. I've got a good amount of retail horror stories. I've got stories from having bad jobs, stories from pyramid schemes I almost joined, but today's not about me. Today is about everyone who clapped back at me and just clapped back in general on that video I posted. And we actually put up an email, Gen Z work sucks. And I wanted to hear directly from some folks about their perspective on older people in the workplace, their perspective of work now. And so we're gonna set it off by diving right back into the drama, right back into the fire that was lit under my ass and all the heat that was aimed at me by discussing employment at Starbucks. Yep, it's time to thank the sponsor of today's video, NordVPN. As you guys know, I just came back from tour, and that meant relying on a lot of public Wi-Fis. Hotels, coffee shops, kink clubs in Berlin, I mean, you name it, I was uploading and working literally everywhere. But working on all these free Wi-Fis left me vulnerable to a man-in-the-middle attack, and no, I'm not talking about the kink club in Berlin. That's just called being friends. No, a man-in-the-middle attack can occur almost anywhere. How it works is you think you're connecting to some free, convenient, local Wi-Fi, but in reality, that Wi-Fi is either compromised or set up as a trap to mine your data. So if you're logging into your bank and email, they can kind of snatch all that stuff up. But lucky for you and me, NordVPN has a solution for that. When you browse with NordVPN, all of your data is encrypted, so it keeps anyone's naughty little hands off of your laptop. And for extra protection, Nord can route your traffic through 2 VPN servers. That's right, you can double bag it. So why go raw when you can wear 2 layers of protection when browsing the internet? So sign up right now using my link, nordvpn.com/Noel Miller. And if you purchase a 2-year plan, you'll get 4 months extra. You can take advantage of that right now at nordvpn.com/Noel Miller. Stop going raw, double bag it, protect yourself online. Now let's get back into this video. Hey Noel, I saw that video of the kid crying at Starbucks, and while I admit it was pitiful, his words, not mine, I can't say I totally blame him. My first real job was working at a Starbucks kiosk in a mall during summer. To this day, I have nightmares about frappuccinos and entitled moms snapping fingers at me. Working an 8-hour-long, non-stop shift while being behind on every task drains you physically and emotionally. The only people I saw handle the workload well were people who served time in the military. Prerequisite for Starbucks manager: 1 tour in Iraq. There is no time to cry like that kid in the video, so I don't have much sympathy for him. The store in particular had 100% turnover in employment every 8 to 9 months. Roughly a year later, I left to work at another Starbucks where the traffic was less. When I told my new coworkers, people anywhere from 5 to 20 years my senior, where I worked previously, they treated 17-year-old me as if I had stormed Normandy. Damn. Now I'm picturing this young guy walking into this Starbucks, his new deployment. All the folks gathered around the terminal. You know, their workload equivalent to like an IT guy in the Navy. They all surround him and say, "Hey pal, where are you from?" And he looks them in the eye and says, "Houston Westfield. I just served at the mall kiosk for the last 2 years." And they all run to his aid. "Oh, why didn't you say sooner?" They take all his bags off his hands. You know, they carry his water bottle in. They say, "Well, get in here, son." Then they sit him down, you know, give him some ice cold water, and they all gather around and they say, "Well, tell us, what was it like out there?" Now here I am theorizing about all this respect this kid received, but that was wrong about that, because look at this. But they were full of ultimately. They were all happy to give the kid wonder more work to do because I was, quote, so experienced, while they chatted on the side with each other. In my experience, the millennials complaining about Gen Z workers are doing so on company time while being oblivious to the fact that they aren't doing shit. Eventually I went to school and have had several other jobs. Trapper at a sporting clay range, fry cook, intern at a biopharma company during COVID, and now I am pursuing my PhD in biomedical engineering. You working on the new, Joking. To this day, I still believe that working as a Starbucks barista was the hardest job I've ever had. In every job since, people have been amazed at my ability to remain calm and composed during stressful situations and just put my head down and work, despite being relatively young. I just think back to my time at that mall Starbucks and how stressed I was at 17. Perhaps I've inflated the experience in my head, and since then have just become more cynical, but that still haunts me from time to time. So I think the moral of this story, everybody, is abuse works. Sign up for the military. The real takeaway here is they should be conscripting young Gen Z working at Starbucks for the next war. I think it's worth mentioning that in the video where I was clearly laughing at the person crying at Starbucks, it was more a catharsis in a way, or it was like a release. Because I think when you're the young person working at a retail job specifically, the people older than you are like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna let this kid do everything that sucks, because for once I get to shit on somebody the way I've been shit on for the last 10 years at this job." And so it was an inappropriate laughter, I guess. Still funny. And I think if you've been that young person getting shit on a little bit, you kind of have to laugh in a way, because that's all you can do. You know, you just kind of look at that and think, yeah, I remember that. Sucks. But it's not me anymore, so I get to laugh. It's that kind of vibe, you know? Anyway, moving on. Now here's one from a young buck. It's titled, "We Fooled Them." Hey Noel, glad to see we've successfully fooled the millennials. Through internships / full-time jobs, I've had about 3 years in the working world doing mostly marketing. And here's my take on the situation and defense for the Gen Z corporate shills. The quirky calendars and messages are 100% a front to try and connect with their millennial coworkers / bosses. I cannot tell you how many pictures of doggos I've reacted to with cringe, minion gifs, just dang. It's not that funny, but I'm just realizing how millennials have carried minions with them, you know? And I'm thinking about people in their mid-30s walking around in business casual going, "Banana." Dang. Picking up where I left off. Reacting to cringe minion gifts just to have something to talk about with my older bosses about. And then to top it off, the messages with coworkers my age feature normal text with no excessive emojis or doing anything outlandish. Not sure if this is relevant or helpful at all, but thanks for reading. That's interesting, getting millennial pilled. You know, you come into a workplace, you're young, everyone's kind of alien to you, and before you know it, you're the doggo minion gift guy. Well, I wonder if there's a point where this person right here will just become minion pilled, and It started out as irony, but then they kind of just start spreading, you know, and he gets infected. And before he knows it, he unironically likes Minions. He's recommending rewatching Despicable Me, you know, sitting around with his boys, chiefing a little. And they go, yo, put on that Ukraine war footage compilation. And then he's like, no, wait, boys. What about Despicable Me? And they go, bro, the Gru was like a phase, but it's cringe now, and it's corny, and we're not doing that. Put on that Ukraine stuff. And meanwhile, his boys are clowning him for liking Minions. Bro, you're cringe. You went all the way back to the first Despicable Me? Dude, what are you? Oh, what's next? You wanna send us doggos and shit? You're lame. And then, somehow, this guy bags himself a mid-30s MILF or DILF. And his boys go, what the hell? How did you even pull that off? And he's sitting there going, I guess you were the ones that were cringe after all. This is bad. This is so bad. We gotta move on. That was garbage, man. I'm sorry. I apologize to everybody. That was bad. You want to talk unique experiences? I like this. Only Asian in Missouri. Now, before we get into this story, I want to call something out. This is just personal experience from traveling across America for doing live comedy. Oh, sorry. Let me pick that up. I've noticed in every Midwest town, there's always a single, just one, perhaps two, but mostly one, Asian restaurant. And it's very clear that a group of Asian people were looking at migrating to America. You know, they're looking at the map and they're looking at these big cities and they're seeing maybe, you know, the standard of living, how difficult it may be to get a job. And then their fingers swipe across Lawrence, Missouri. And they look at each other and they realize, hey, what if we became the only pho restaurant for a 30-mile radius? It'll take time. We'll have to convince the folks of it. But once we do, it's ours. So I'm kind of imagining that this might be some story in that vein. Hey, Noel and team. Last summer, I got an internship at this marketing agency based in St. Louis. I noticed coming into the city that there weren't a lot of Asian people living there. I didn't make a big deal out of it and just got excited about working in the office for a summer. The agency is small enough, around 100 people. So small that I got to meet the CEO and talk to him about my background as a Filipino. He's nice, but was a stereotypical Midwestern white guy. That same day, we had an office-wide meeting where we catch up on all of the teams. He introduced me to everyone present in the meeting. Quote, we have a new intern from Southeast Asia. Cambodia, right? I just blankly replied, the Philippines. And no joke, everyone clapped. The rest of the summer was pretty good, but I'll never forget that whole time in Missouri. I was the only Asian around the company. I guess I represent the whole continent. You do. And you did. And that moment, they were applauding you for coming into their tribe, braving the sea, battling the waves on your small boat or whatever craft you took to get all the way to St. Louis. They were just amazed. They said, oh man. Now I feel you, miss, that this would have been a odd, situation to walk into. You know, a bunch of white people clapping for you in the middle of St. Louis, applauding your ethnicity. And if anything, they may have applauded you for just being so kind as to donate an aspect of your entire lifetime to St. Louis. They couldn't believe it. They said, wow, this person, exotic, filled with culture, all kinds of experiences, would come here and just give away 90 days of life. What the f were you thinking coming here? I'm going to say that's not a youth thing or even a race thing. I'm going to say that's a Midwestern thing because that's something I found about the Midwest. The Midwest, they are very nice to you. When you come to their town, from a big city, when you come to their town, they go, why in the hell would you come here? And thanks for spending the time, but get out of here before it sucks you in. Having too much fun this video. Now here's one, smoke still in the chamber from the gun. Hey Noel, I won't lie, I'm 23, and all my coworkers are constantly looking at me like I'm an alien. I usually prioritize my friends and having fun, and it's led to some medical stuff. Basically, I had a seizure 12 weeks ago, rolled my ankle 5 weeks ago training, and then broke the other ankle 2 weeks ago, and now yesterday I had another seizure. I've had 2 internships in 2 different cities, and I got both offices thinking I'm Anthony Davis on the Lakers. Nice. Got a heater off with that one. If I watched ball, I would probably think that was really amusing. Also, they keep thinking my choice in clothes are interesting. I'll sometimes throw on a beanie or puffer vest in the summer for the fit, and they just can't wrap their minds around it. I read the top line of this message, thinking that there was still smoke in the gun, because I thought this person was going to tell me how they prioritize going out and living their life ahead of working hard for a company. But instead, we just found out that this kid never drank milk. He's got bad bones, and he's dripless. There's no way, bro, that you're walking into work in a puffer, and even the hypest of beasts is looking at you going, that right there, you nailed it. You probably look like a goober. And I'm saying this with empathy because in the words of a good friend of mine, a buddy of mine named Marlon, when he looked at some of the fits I wore, not even 5-6 years ago, quote, "Oh, May, what's that hoodie? That fit reeks." So I'm here to let you know, man, that, if you're trying to lead on that young people might prioritize fun and not give their lives away to a company, that's all good and well. But I'm here to just let you know that the fit, it might reek regularly. And it probably reeks because you're wearing a puffer in the summer and you're stinking it up in there. You are stinking it up. You know you are, dude. They're not looking at you crazy because of the fit. They're looking at you wild because you got that, that shit that boxers wear to like drop weight, the sweat jacket on. You're just dripping inside there. Just face caked with sweat, sending doggos to the group, and they're looking at you crazy like, isn't that motherfucker hot? He smells. Now here's a good one, I think, to kind of put a bow tie on it, because we've all gone through this, but let's see if it's changed at all. Workplace harassment. Workplace harassment. Workplace harassment. I used to work at a somewhat nice seafood restaurant where the customers were often older, more wealthy, and they had no sense of boundaries. Red Lobster? Probably Nobu. One day I was standing at the host booth talking to one of my coworkers, and an old dude came up from behind me and started rubbing my back. The 50s are alive and well. At this point, I was cornered and had nowhere to move, so I just backed up slightly and awkwardly laughed as he told me, "Let the hair down next time," and winked at me. Ew, bro. I didn't know what to do. I was 18, possibly younger, and he had to be at least 85. I reported to my manager what happened, and they did nothing. Then I told my other coworkers who didn't see it, and they basically told me it comes with the job and to get over it. Very interesting. Oh, that's not interesting at all. That's brutal. He's 85. He probably, man, I just wonder if his mind is gone and he thought you were his wife or some just walking up like, "Ethel, let the hair down next time. You know how I like it." He probably thinks he's, somewhere else. Either way, that's terrible. Sorry you had to go out on your shield like that. Not cool. And now that the vibe is weird and uncomfortable, I'll say we'll end it here. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. If you like this one, let's do it again. I'll see you on the next one. Have a good day, night, evening, wherever you are. Goodbye. See ya. Later.
I didn't come here to play, nah, I came with a plan. I'm the star inside my circle, I'm the pentagram, whoa. Making sacrifices just to get the land, oh. I'm trying to see how fast that hurricane go. Eyes burning, no sleep, hustle is OD.